Hey guys, it's Nordin here. I'm just back here in southern Spain, more precisely in Andalusia after my Annapurna 1 and Mount Everest expedition. As you may already know, I successfully climbed Annapurna 1 this season, this April, solo without oxygen. And yeah, my Everest attempt unfortunately was not successful. I had to turn around. I got very sick in Camp 2, but I'll explain that in detail in another video. This video now is more about my Lhotse, my successful Lhotse climb of last year. For those of you that don't know, last year I climbed Mount Lhotse. It's the fourth highest mountain with 8,516 meters, solo without oxygen. Lhotse is located right next to Everest. They share the same route, the same climb basically, just really at the end before you reach Camp 4. Yeah, you can kind of say you go left for Everest and right up the couloir for Lhotse. And yeah, this video is all about last year's ascent, how I climbed Lhotse. It was my very first 8,000er, my very first experience above 8,000 meters in the death zone. I did not know what was happening or how my body would react or how I could deal with it. I was very afraid of the death zone. I was super afraid, really to the bone. I was scared, but I'll explain that as well in another video. And yeah, in this video I'll just show you how I arrived in Basecamp. As you maybe have seen in the previous two videos, I arrived in Lukla, or in the Solo Khumbu, round about the 5th or 6th of March. This is when I started my acclimatization. I summited on the 21st of May, so that's more than, yeah, is it like 11 weeks? 10 or 11 weeks I spent up there above 5,000 meters. And yeah, in this video I'll just show you a little bit of Basecamp, how I moved to Basecamp, how I approached Basecamp, and how Basecamp life basically is. Alright. In the video before, I showed you that I acclimatized at the Three Passes trek, or I've just basically been in the Solo Khumbu for, I don't know, 3 weeks I think, and I did the 3 passes. I climbed many summits and mountains. I went to Choyu Base Camp, and yeah, after that I went to Gorakshep, which is like the last town just before the Khumbu Glacier, before you reach Everest Base Camp. And yeah, I reached that, what was it? Yeah, on the 22nd of March, I was already in Gorakshep, and I started like phase 2 of my acclimatization training. You know, the first part of climbing the 3 passes was just to like get a base acclimatization in, you know, to just get my body used to 5,000 meters. And to be able to deal with the altitude and to feel actually comfortable and get stronger. And the second phase of my training in Gorakshep, which started on the 22nd of March, was really when I started trail running. I did some trail running sessions before on the 3 passes. You can see that in the last video, because I was acclimatizing super well. I felt super strong, super good. So I mixed in a trail run every now and then. But yeah, this phase now then in Gorakshep was really dedicated to build a, let's say, aerobic capacity and really put some stress on my cardiovascular system in Gorakshep for about 2 weeks straight. So I was running up down Kalapatar. Kalapatar is the next, or is the mountain right next to Gorakshep. It's about, what was it? Was it 5,640 meters or something like that? I don't remember exactly the number or the altitude, but yeah, almost 5,700 meters. And I ran up Kalapatar every day, just in order to acclimatize even more and to get some trail running sessions in and to really exercise my cardiovascular system at that altitude. which helped me a lot. And yeah, my body adapted even more to the altitude, and I felt super strong at base camp basically, and going up and down, and also then later, you know, moving up to the higher camps, and eventually summiting Lhotse completely on my own without oxygen. And I always felt great and well. I never really had a headache, so that was great. So it really worked out. And yeah, so after I trained for about 2 weeks in Gorakshep, the Sherpas arrived, because you have to imagine at that time there's almost nothing going on in Everest Base Camp. Like at the end of March, the icefall doctors are still working on the Khumbu icefall. You could say the big expeditions or the early birds are already there and build up base camp, because they have a lot of clients and they have a lot to build up and prepare. But most expeditions and most organizers haven't even been there yet. Bye guys. So what you just saw is Everest Base Camp. They're still building up and preparing. There are no clients or customers here yet. Only like the porters, the climbing Sherpas and the cooks are up here, preparing everything, making the surfaces flat, setting up the tents and everything, carrying up all the equipment up here along with these yaks. And in about, yeah, depending on the company, like 2, 3, 4 weeks, all the customers will arrive here, and then it gets super busy up here. Right. I'm gonna head back to Gorakshep now, chill, and get some rest. Bye bye. So when I was in Gorakshep, I was basically waiting for my expedition organizer because they haven't even been at Everest Base Camp. So yeah, I was waiting there in Gorakshep, and I was training. And eventually, I don't remember exactly when they showed up, but eventually the Sherpas of my expedition organizer, which was Glacier Himalaya at that time, eventually the Sherpas also showed up in Gorakshep. You know, they also have to acclimatize at least a little bit. They also showed up in Gorakshep, and after 1 or 2 days they moved to Everest Base Camp together with me, or I moved with them together to Everest Base Camp, which was roundabout then on the 2nd of April. So yeah, on the 2nd of April, so you have to imagine there's nothing prepared. You just have a claim or a section, you know, where the Nepalese government says, okay, look, here you can build your base camp, and it's just a rough glacier and nothing is flat, and you have to put a lot of work in to actually build up the base camp. And that's what I did. I thought, okay, I can continue my training, which I did. I still did some running, but I could also help the Sherpas to build up base camp, and to carry stuff around, and actually work together with them. Because, you know, that's my style. I don't like anyone to build up the tent for me. I like to carry my own equipment. I like to build up my own tent and everything. So yeah, that's basically what I did. So when the Sherpas arrived, I moved together with them to the Everest Base Camp, and we started building base camp. Yeah. And yeah, I can tell you at 5,300 meters, which is the altitude of Everest Base Camp, 5,370 I think, working with an ice axe or with a pickaxe, sorry, and shovel, constantly trying to work on the ice, on the surface, making it flat. It's super exhausting. You can, at best, I don't know, swing the pickaxe for 2 minutes and then you're completely out of breath and someone else needs to take over, or you just rest a little bit before you can continue. Also with the shovel, you know, even if if the hard job is picking the ice with the pickaxe, but just moving the ice from one place to another with a shovel is so exhausting. Every movement up there is so exhausting. It's nothing compared to sea level, you know. And it was really intense and very exhausting to build a base camp together with the Sherpas. And we had to take breaks regularly. Even the Sherpas, you know, I was already acclimatized, but they just came up and moved to base camp in a few days, so they hadn't been acclimatized, so it must have been even harder for the Sherpas. But yeah, after a while, on the first day, not on the first day. On the first day, we only put up the dining tent, or like one big group tent where we could store the equipment, and then we built ourselves our own tents so we could actually sleep in base camp and don't have to walk back to Gorachep. And that was basically, I would say, almost the first 7 days in base camp. I did nothing else than just working together with the Sherpas, with the shovel and ice axe, building up tents, moving rocks. Yeah, that was also a super hard part. We had to move all these huge rocks and debris. Could you say debris? Yeah, all the huge rocks needed to be moved, you know, if they were in the way. Or sometimes we even with the pickaxe worked on the rocks, you know, when we needed some flat surfaces. So we even like divided some rocks with the tools, if it was possible. So yeah, it was a lot of hard work. And after about a week, we were able to then build up the bigger dining tent, you know, the dome, and have a dedicated kitchen tent, have a dedicated material and storage tent. Thank you. Oh wow, awesome. Then we build up the box tents for all the clients and customers that would arrive in 2 weeks later. They usually arrive like in the mid and end of April, the oxygen climbers, because they don't need as much of an acclimatization time, so they can just arrive later at base camp. And yeah, we build up all the box tents for them as well. And that was basically the first 2 to 3 weeks at base camp. And yeah, I'll just show you a little bit of pictures, a little bit of footage, some videos of how it was. You know, unfortunately I did not record as much as I should have or wanted to. I simply just forgot about it, you know, at the evenings or when it got dark. I was just so tired, you know. I went to my tent, into my sleeping bag, and I just fell asleep because it was very, very, very exhausting. And yeah, that was the beginning and my time in Basecamp. So after a while, even before the first customers arrived, I think we had, and once the icefall was open, we did our first rotation to Camp 1 and Camp 2. So yeah, about 8 or 9 days later, after I arrived at Everest Base Camp, and the icefall doctors finally opened the Kumbu icefall, it was time to move to higher camps because I wanted to start my acclimatization process, or well, not start my acclimatization process, I wanted to continue my acclimatization process because I was already acclimatized very, very well to 5,700 meters. I trained like a beast. I was super strong at that altitude, but I was getting a little bit nervous, you know. I thought, man, I really need to go higher, go to 6,000, 6,500 and to the 7,000 thousands and start my rotation in order to acclimatize even more, because as I told you, I was super afraid of the death zone. I really, you know, I would go there alone without Sherpa, without oxygen, and it would be my first time up there, and I had no idea how my body would react to this altitude. So I was so nervous and so afraid of the altitude and the death zone. So I was really, yeah, I was really impatient. I really wanted to go up to the higher camps. And yeah, eventually the icefall opened. The icefall doctors managed to open the route. And yeah, I went through the Kumbu icefall for my very first time. Almost with, well, I had some equipment. I was asking the Sherpas, hey, do you need me to carry something up? You know, I would like to go to Camp 2 directly. I'm gonna skip Camp 1. I don't need Camp 1. I'm not gonna carry any tents or equipment up there, but I can carry anything else up there. Is there anything you would need me to carry? And they said, yeah, we have some stuff for you. And they just gave me some tools, shovel, axes, some bamboo sticks. They put that in my rucksack and they said, yeah, carry it to Camp 2, drop it there. We will show you where our camp is, or actually claim, where our tents will be standing. And yeah, that's what I did. Together with the Sherpas, I went through Kumbu icefall. I dropped all my tools that I had in the rucksack in Camp 2, where our campsite would be later on, and I ran down to base camp the same day. So I did the whole thing what the Sherpas do. Go up from base camp, skip Camp 1 completely, just pass it, go directly to Camp 2 with the tools, drop the material and run back. So that's, as you can maybe imagine, a super hard day. It's very long, it's very exhausting. It's my very first time up there. I've never went through the Kumbu icefall along the Western Kum. I never was in Camp 2. And usually what people do, what normal climbers do, is when they arrive in base camp, the first time they go up, they go to Camp 1, sleep there, or maybe stay there and turn around and go back, or they come to Camp 1, sleep there one night and go back. And what I did is I went there, skipped Camp 1 completely, directly to Camp 2 and back in the same day, which is kind of crazy, and I'm glad and happy that I was able to make it. But let me tell you, I was so exhausted. I never felt so weak in my life. Really, it was super hard, especially the way down. Going up was fine, it was fast. Yeah, it was actually really fast, but that's also due to the fact that the rucksack was kind of light, even though I had some tools with me, but it's not like carrying 25 kg up to Camp 2. So it was kind of fast. I was surprised. I have to admit, Kumbu icefall was very intimidating when I went through it the first time. Yeah, and I was extremely exhausted. I was super weak at the end of the day. It was very cold because it was still very early in the season, therefore it's very cold. It was super windy, and I did a big mistake. I didn't take warm enough clothes, so I was really freezing, and I couldn't wait for the sun to come up. But unfortunately in the Western Kum it takes a long time. Actually, you almost have to wait until 9:30 a.m. in the morning until the sun finally comes over Everest and warms you and your body. So yeah, I was freezing cold. Yeah. So after a while, we are back in Basecamp. The first clients arrive, the first customers come to Basecamp. They also start acclimatizing, they do their rotations. And then we have our purja. And for those of you that don't know what a purja is, a purja is basically a Buddhist ceremony that has the intention to wish you luck and to prevent any risk or dangers from you. So a Lama is coming, a Buddhist Lama is coming. He is doing the ceremony, he's saying the holy words, he's singing and yeah, just reading the holy words, instruments are playing, and yeah, we are giving some gifts to, I don't know, to be completely honest to you, with you, and yeah, we put our some of our gear there, our equipment, which is getting blessed as well in that ceremony.
Very good.
And yeah, the whole purpose basically is to grant us a safe passage, and yeah, basically praying that nothing is happening to you, to us. After the purja, everyone was blessed, everyone had their gear blessed. So now after that, and after about, I don't know how many weeks in Basecamp but doing rotations up and down, we were finally ready, or I was finally ready to go up to Camp 2 and start my Camp 3, Camp 4 rotation, go back to Camp 2 and then do the summit push. But yeah, I'll show you more about that, how I went to Camp 2 and how I went up and down the mountain, how I did my rotations and how I summited. I'll show you that in the next video. Thank you so much for tuning in, and see you the next time. Bye bye.